In 2012, a new kind of system did something that still sounds strange. It labeled everyday photos, leopards, mushrooms, container ships more accurately than the best hand-built methods. Entered in the ImageNet challenge, the team's models posted a top 5 error of 15.3% against 26.2% for the runner-up. Computer vision had its turning point. So how? Let's start at the beginning. For decades, getting a computer to recognize objects was strangely hard. You glance at a photo and instantly know it's a cat, a bus, a mushroom. To a computer, the same photo was just a grid of numbers. Engineers had to hand-design the features, edges, textures, pipelines like SIFT to pull objects out. And as recently as 2012, the strongest hand-engineered systems were still stuck around 26% error. Then Krizhevsky, Sutskever, and Hinton tried something different. Instead of handwriting the features, they built a deep neural network and let it learn them straight from data. And they had the data, ImageNet, 1.2 million labeled photos across 1,000 categories. Nobody would write the rules for cat by hand, the training would shape them, image by image. One honest warning before we go on, we are simplifying massively. The real paper is full of architecture and tuning, but the core idea you can picture. Think of the network as a factory inspection line. A photo enters at one end and passes through a stack of stations. Each station runs many small checks, marks the patterns it finds, and passes the result to the next. The first stations are simple. They react to edges, colors, and little patches of contrast. Later stations combine those signals into larger, more abstract patterns. By the final stations, the clues add up to a guess across 1,000 object classes. And here is the key. Nobody set those stations by hand. Training shaped every one of them. 3 tricks made it actually work. First came speed. The network swapped the usual neuron for a simpler one, the ReLU, which passes positive signals straight through. The paper found that deep networks with ReLUs train several times faster, in one test, reaching the same error 6 times sooner. Without that speed, the whole experiment was impractical. Second came hardware. The network was enormous for 2012, 60 million parameters, and would not fit on a single graphics card with just 3 gigabytes of memory. So the team split it across 2 GTX 580 GPUs and trained for 5 to 6 days. The breakthrough ran on 2 consumer graphics cards. Third came restraint. A network this big can simply memorize its training photos, then fail on new ones. So they used a new trick called dropout. During training, randomly switch off half the units in its first 2 fully connected layers, forcing the network to learn sturdier patterns. With some clever image augmentation on top, it generalized. Then came the landslide. In the 2012 ImageNet contest, the team's entry reached a top 5 error of 15.3%. The second best entry, built the old way, on hand-designed features, managed only 26.2. That was not a nudge ahead. Overnight, the classical approach looked like a previous era. And you can see what the training produced. One figure in the paper shows the very first layer's filters, edges, blobs, slabs of color, the first inspection marks, found by the network rather than programmed in. That was the real lesson. Given enough data, enough depth, and enough compute, a network could learn better features than the hand-engineered pipelines it beat. What followed was a revolution, and later, the same bet would lead to the transformers from our last 2 videos. But that came after. The paper itself only sorted photos into 1,000 boxes. It did not understand them. Still, in 2012, no machine understood images the way we do, yet one labeled them so much better that everything after looked different.